yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again
Whoever you are, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, whoever you are, come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Just come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are.
Shuva, 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 yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, Shuva, 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 yet again
Whoever you are, whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come, wanderer, worshipper, doesn't matter, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Whoever you are, come, 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 even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, just come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Shuva, 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 shuva. Shuva, yet again come. Shuva, 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 yet again come. Oh, shuva, 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 yet again come. Whoever you are, whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come, wanderer, worshipper, doesn't matter, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, come, you are. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come, wanderer, worshipper, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Whoever you are, come, come, come. Even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times, come. Even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come, just come. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, just come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. Shuva, shuva, shuva. Shuva, shuva, yet again come. Shuva, shuva, shuva. Shuva, shuva, yet again come. Oh, shuva, 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 yet again come. Whoever you are, whoever you are. Whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, 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 whoever you are, come, come, wanderer.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone who's in the sanctuary, and Shabbat Shalom to all our friends who are joining us on the live stream. It is so beautiful to be able to welcome people into our precious sanctuary, our temple home, as well as to invite people to join us through the access of the miracle of technology. And so I just want to say that I said this in a version last week, but it relates to how we're going to start the service tonight with the words of Or Zarua La Tzadik, which means light is sown for the righteous. And I have to say that even though we have fewer lights on tonight, there is more light in this sanctuary because it's filled with people and only strengthened by the presence of so many more who are joining us virtually. And so I invite you to page 14 in your Sidurim, your prayer books, and join us in the singing of Or Zarua.
Bum bidi bum 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 namana 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 Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha. We must keep our hopes alive. We must raise our voices high. We must hold each other tight. We must stand up in the night and be alive. Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha. We must spread our love around. We must feel this sacred sound. We must work till peace has come. We must love and live as one and be alive. Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha Or Zarua La Tzadik Yisrael Simcha.
I invite you now to turn with me to pages 2 and 3 in your prayer books, where you'll find the candle blessing for Shabbat, and it is an honor to invite the Resnick family to lead us as we will be celebrating Maya's bat mitzvah tomorrow morning as she is called to the Torah for the very first time. So joyous.
source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
There are angels, they say, that accompany us home from synagogue when we celebrate Shabbat together. We sing about these angels on page 24 with the singing of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedkem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please rise, page 145. 145. Yikadav yitkadash shemei Rabba, ve'amad yivrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uv'izman kami, v'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam la'omei omaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shmei dekudesha brichu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'yimeru amen.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated, page 147. Even if you don't know all the words, there's a lot of la la las in there, which count.
Tamid lo chaleinu leolam. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu uvkumeinu na'asya bechukecha v'nishmach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir imenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed.
Page 150.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ub'chol nafshecha ub'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושינתם בביתך, ושברתם בם, בשיטתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקנך, ובשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We continue on page 39.
We continue on page 151. She has a different prayer book. It's okay. Please join me responsibly. 151. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the spirit. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot tosefet, Torah tehilot tosefet. Malchutecha ra'u panecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai lo le'olam va'ed, Adonai lo le'olam va'ed. Ya lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu v'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu v'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright. We are charged with keeping, with guarding Shabbat every week, and we get to renew that experience, make it new, make room to let the idea, the concept, the feeling of being tzaddik, tzaddikim into our hearts during that time. Let's sing together V'shamru.
Page 154.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam Be'ritov Olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'dorotam Be'ritov Olam. Be'ir בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Yaakov, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביאו לנו בני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, עוזר הושיענו. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת צרם. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
May be seated. We continue on page 160. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise together. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahavat yikabel el karov lechol korav el karov lechol korav pnei el avdecha bechanenu shepok ruchacha aleinu v'techezena einenu v'shuvchacha litzion rachamim Baruch atah Adonai המחזיר שכינתו לציון המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Responsively on 163. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for hope of tomorrow, all praise to O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, v'lechana el lehodot. On page 164, we offer blessings for peace.
Shalom Bracha Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Bracha Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Bracha Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Bracha Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov b'neinecha libarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה ישלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
I invite you to turn with us to page 253, where you'll find our blessing for healing as we call to mind all of those in our lives, in our families of friends who are in need of God's healing presence, and we offer them blessings of renewal and peace and wholeness.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
From our congregational families, we pray for Chris Argall, Nancy Ash, Mindy Beller, Chanalea Bat Devorah, Betty Cohen, Amy Cooper, Shar DeGrave, Harvey Filer, Andrew Fisher, Dean Gavney, Jacob Gluckman, Roger Gluckman, Gabby Goldberg, Stuart Goodman, Alicia Good, Ramesh Gupta, Bert Horwitz, Laurel and Wally Jonas, Diana Kleinman, Jean Nofel, Chris Kuntz, Michael Lidikin, Bill Rockamora, Bert Rothman, Jim Rudisil, Deborah Sanders, Michael Shavitz, Julie Sherman, Deborah Silverstein, Shoshana Slatke, Matthew Treehub, Bob Ward, Marlene Wexelblatt, and all of those names who are listed in the chat. And if you have names that you would like to share, please do so.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I welcome you now to a moment of silence.
Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Tonight is not just any Friday night. It is my distinct pleasure to call up to the bima our president, Tikkun Gottschalk. Tikkun, come on up. I will not roast you, except maybe I will.
It's my job.
So this may be an urban myth, but word has it that every temple president has to contend with some sort of challenge. Something unexpected that affects their presidency that they have to deal with and that they have no choice over. So early in your presidency, right after Karen left, you might recall this building had a roof leak. At the time, you did the thing presidents do. You climbed on a ladder, went up on the roof, cleaned the gutters, thereby fixing the leak. I think it's kind of funny to think, in hindsight, that maybe you thought that was going to be your challenge, your thing.
It's only down from there.
So 9 months later, as it turns out, you had to make the extremely difficult decision to close the doors to this building. Notice I didn't say close the doors to the temple, because at a time when so many congregations were struggling with what to do in the wake of the pandemic, you quickly mobilized people and resources and allowed us to pivot without almost skipping a beat to being able to offer everything we offer just about online and remotely, while all of us were stranded and confined to our homes. There's no question that you have some amazing character traits, and so many of them came to bear in the last 24 months. One of the ones that I admire the most is your ability to assess a situation and know exactly what the moment requires. Not just what it requires of you, but what it requires of those around you. So with this big challenge in front of you, you were able to be a cheerleader for the Board of Trustees, a cheerleader for the staff, and basically adapt to a situation that none of us could have foreseen. You became a Zoom master in no time, where the board didn't miss a single meeting, nor did staff, and Zoom has now become, we all know, a four-letter word, but back then, it was quite the lifeline. It enabled us all to stay connected and engaged, and for the community to thrive. There's no question that a presidency like this also required creativity. And last summer, when it became obvious that we wouldn't be getting together in person for High Holy Days, you committed to helping shape an experience that was both deep, meaningful, and impactful. And you even encouraged the staff and volunteers to create a beautiful High Holy Day guide that still lives on my coffee table. I told you it would have a good life and a long life, and it did. Also it occurs to me that at a time when staff was working hard to retool all of our offerings so they could be brought into people's homes, you were the ultimate cheerleader. You made it a case to, first of, come up with a budget that was, as you described it, inspirational and aspirational. But not only did you do that, you made a case with the congregation for why the temple, even at a time when we were remotely offering everything the temple offers, you made a compelling case for why the temple was still relevant and deserving of support. And the congregation heard your plea, heard your call, which resulted with our fair share pledges staying steady. And I hope you have a deep sense of pride in the fact that as we emerge from the pandemic, hopefully leaving it in the rearview mirror, that you're leaving this temple not only intact, but financially better off than it was at the onset. That's no small feat. You did all of this while having difficult conversations, and that's another quality that I really appreciate in you, is your ability to have challenging conversations, but always inject just enough humor, because we all know that temple business can be serious business, especially a reformed temple business where we encourage everyone to come as they are and be vocal about their opinions. So in closing, I'm just so appreciative of your unwillingness to give up and your steady vision and the fact that you just stayed steady when it would have been so easy to shake. You may look back on these last 2 years and feel that all of this was a little bit surreal perhaps, but from where I'm standing, I can tell you with a high degree of confidence that I know you were 100% the man for the job, and that I can't think of anyone else who could have done it any better than you did. I would be remiss, with all that said, in not acknowledging that this president gig is just about a full-time job. And I'm going to turn to Meredith and the girls now, because I think I speak on behalf of not just myself, but the board, staff, and all of the congregation in thanking you for allowing us to have so much of Tikkun's time. So word has it that you and your family are going to be leaving in early July for some sort of a cross-country trip in a camper. And so don't worry, because I called in a special meeting of the board and they all unanimously said you could take July off. So don't worry about that. That's been approved.
I have heard that past presidents leave town immediately after on July 1st.
That said, I'm also thinking, having traveled in campers myself, that the close quarters, although I'm sure will be super conducive to lots of quality family time, you might be ready, it is my hope, by the time you return, to step into your past president role, because the reality is none of us want to continue doing this without you. So with that, I have some gifts to give you, okay? So I'm going to step here, and you step over that way.
Okay.
So this presentation kind of ruins my joke, because my joke was going to be, Tikkun, you have 2 presents and neither is suitable for framing. But as it turns out, thanks to Matilda and Buffy, this one is very much suitable for framing, so I hope you will go ahead and
Frame it,
frame
that's
it.
right, over the bed.
So I was told to gingerly pull this off,
Okay.
so I'm going to be ginger. libation container holder.
We can drink on the beamer, right?
There are beers, there are hammocks, there's a fancy mug, all of which I hope will be conducive to you putting a little bit of distance between what I know has been a pretty intense couple of years. The second gift is one that it took a village to produce, or a tribe, as it were. We have Marty Gillen. Where's Marty? We have Marty Gillen to thank for this, yet again, for capturing some footage of people who wanted to say a few words to you that I hope you will love. So with that, we're going to turn the TV, and Kevin, roll the tape.
We're here tonight to honor Tikkun for his 2 years of service as the president of our temple, and to share with him just how much his leadership has meant to us during this very, very challenging but fulfilling last 2 years.
Amazing. And I think, a lot of people don't really know him. And because he was a president and half of his term we weren't here, there wasn't even that interaction that people have, at Shabbat. And even though he's been a temple member forever, he's sort of like this understated guy. He's not like this big social animal who's, Gaia knows all the people. So it's really, it'll be interesting to see what people say. But I think that, those of us who are close to him or have worked with him, really see what a huge asset he's been this year. I'm going to say, if tikkun were a traditional Jewish food, he would be the most perfect piece of arugula. And that is because arugula is kind of a surprise. It's wrapped together, and until you bite into it, you may not know what you're getting. They all look good. Some arugula is dry, some arugula is perfect. And that's really what tikkun is. He is this perfectly wrapped thing that you may not know when you're first meeting tikkun what you're getting. And as you get to know him, it's just this sort of exploration of this great person who has so much to offer. And in that one bite of really knowing who he is, it's like this kind of perfection of what you want it to be.
Because I've been thinking about this. I think of tikkun in the temple the way I think of tikkun in our friendship. I trust tikkun completely. I just trust him. I trust him to know what's going on behind the scenes. I trust him to make good judgments. And most of all, I trust him. I know he's got my back in all things. And what a wonderful thing to trust somebody so completely. I know that he had the temple's back completely. If tikkun was something in my garden, he would be my echinacea plant, which is dependable. It always comes back. I know it's going to be there. It's really nice. I like it a lot. It's a healing plant. And sometimes it's hard to get rid of. He's my echinacea plant, my coneflower.
Well, actually, so Tikkun and Justine, his daughter, were the first people to film us. Before we started involving Kevin and then yourself, we were just simply an iPad, Tikkun and Justine, and Kim and myself in the sanctuary together. And of course, from there it's grown. But he really initiated or responded to the need of getting prayer into people's homes while we were separated. If Tikkun were a musical instrument, what would he be? I would say that Tikkun would be a harpsichord. A harpsichord is similar to the piano, except that there is no decay to the sound. It is immediate, it is focused, it works in collaboration so that it has the sense of sustain when paired with other notes being being hit, keys being hit, but is ready to move on to something else and doesn't linger on a subject longer than it needs to. Tikkun is a Baroque harpsichord.
I feel so incredibly fortunate to have had Tikkun as my role model for the last 2 years. He is always accessible, always available. He and I have worked closely. If you look at my text messages, you'll see that there's 3 or 4 every day between the two of us. He's really been keen to teach me and show me everything that's important about the temple to really give me the best chance of filling what I know are going to be big shoes. If Tikkun were a yoga pose, he would undoubtedly be a tree. He would be a very successful tree, a slender tree with feet planted squarely into the ground, but his arms and hands stretched out to the heavens.
I've always admired Tikkun because he's so level. He doesn't rise to the bait, so to speak, and I think it's just a great quality. So if Tikkun were a beer, what would he be? And I'm going to say, in recognition of his service on the board, which is such a high level of service as president, Sam Adams as a patriot. That works.
We didn't really have a rule book for times during a pandemic, and a lot of the rules had to be made up along the way, and that's very challenging. And I think it's fraught with a lot of potential potholes and pitfalls. And Tikkun, he really led us. I mean, I know that leaders lead, of course, but he really led us. If Tikkun were a golf club, well, I'd say he was a putter, because a putter is any golfer knows, it's the most important club in the bag.
Tikkun is a very busy attorney. He's involved with the community, has a lot of friends, has 2 children that are now growing up, and he's a mentor to them, and has a very close relationship with Meredith. And I am certain that he will he'll find something to do in his spare time. I would say if Tikkun were a professor, he would teach psychology, because he is very good at figuring out where people are coming from and the best way to understand them and to help them to get the result that they are seeking in law and I guess with respect to the temple.
He was president during a year like none other. This pandemic year has been unbelievable. I don't know anybody else could have done it with as much smoothness and style and compassion and thoughtfulness. His leadership was just phenomenal through this period. So I really appreciate that. Which sport would he be and why? I guess I'm going to say paddleboarding. Again, using the same reference of, water's flowing underneath but seemingly calm on top.
So Tikkun was great to work with during this challenging time. He was always open to our input, our feedback, consulted with us to figure out how to make things work for the temple. Tikkun has a very practical way of handling things that I was very thankful to work with him, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. If Tikkun was a medical instrument, what would he be? I think he would be a stethoscope. It's the most important instrument that we use and listens to the heartbeat of our congregation.
Been to every single soccer game. He drove me to every single practice, and when I didn't want to play soccer anymore, he said okay. And then he came to all my shows, and he came to all my rehearsals, and he read all my papers. And even when he was you know, having to do all this stuff as president, as a lawyer, and he didn't get off work until like 7 or 8. He always had a big hug for us. He was always willing to make us dinner, you know, if nothing had been made. And yeah, he's always been there. If my dad were a playwright, he would write comedy, 100%.
Because?
Because he's absolutely hilarious.
He's a great husband. He's, I mean, he's totally does so much housework and everything. He's just completely like modern in that way, which is just such a blessing. He's done a really good job. It's kind of amazing how much he's had to juggle, and yeah, he's very good at that. He's very good at scheduling himself and taking care of everything he needs to take care of. I guess if Tikkun were a song, he'd be a swing dance song.
And so Tikkun's patience and ability to be thoughtful has, I think, really improved the way our temple has responded to things. If Tikkun were a downtown restaurant, he would be the Med, because he's not fancy, he's not, you know, white tablecloth, he is down to earth, he's solid, you always know what you're gonna get, and you always know it's gonna be good.
If Tikkun was a Jewish holiday, I think that Tikkun would be Lag BaOmer, because that's a time when we go outside and we sit by our bonfires, we celebrate, we enjoy, we have a good time. And I think that that's what Tikkun likes to do when he's not doing temple stuff, but it's just in line with everything that he is, being an outdoorsy person. And it's kind of like the outdoorsy Jewish holiday of the year.
There is a card for you in the lobby that was signed by most of the board members who were able to come through and sign it. And of course, the gift in front of the podium is from all of them as well.
Thank you. I got no words. I got no joke. Thank you.
No, you don't.
No.
I didn't add my words by video because I wanted to say them here, and I do want to say two things. When I brought Mark home to my parents, they knew he was a good match for me because he was calm and steady and doesn't rise to the bait and all of those things. And I feel like in many ways the relationship between a rabbi and temple president is in a lot of ways like a marriage, insofar as it can be a clashing, or it can be a great dance that just works. And I just want to say I appreciate that during this pandemic time, I know that in my insides and maybe even on my outsides, there was reactiveness, there was slowness for me to orient myself and retool myself. And your steady, patient trust that I would come to figure it out was vital to my process, because you somehow you knew, Bob knows that you know psychology, and it was not lost on you that you can't push me. People have to be patient and wait and listen, and I'm so appreciative because this was a terribly difficult time, and I'm so grateful it was you. Like I often say, I said this to you the other day, that I say that Torah portions and B'nai Mitzvah kids look like each other in the same way temple presidents and their presidencies sometimes look like one another. And I'm grateful it was you in this moment, for me, for this congregation. And I just want to offer you, I'd like to invite the congregation to rise and just offer a blessing for you for your post-presidency. It's inspired by John O'Donohue, who's a beautiful poet of blessed memory, but I did my own thing for you with it. At long last, you have arrived in this moment after years of effort and toil and service to this congregation. Look with graciousness and thanks on all your great and quiet achievements, as do we. Give yourself the gift of allowing your heart to enjoy a different rhythm, both when you are here at synagogue and when you're not. Allow the found time in your schedule to remind you to slow down until you find space to attend to your own soul and to the souls of your beloveds. You stand now on the shore of a new invitation to open your life to all that's undone, to live the dreams for which you've waited, to awaken the depths beyond your temple service to discover what else needs your unique contribution and your capable fingerprints. May you go forth in health and feeling much wholeness, carrying the wisdom of Pirkei Avot. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It's not for you to have finished all the work, but we are so grateful that you did your part with wisdom, with courage, with steadiness, and with stamina. Toda rabah and mazal tov. We'll remain standing and turn to the back covers of our prayer. Did you want to say anything? No, okay. Well, to the back covers of your prayer books where you'll find the words to Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא עשנו לשומרי האדמה, והוא שמנו לשליחי התורה, שהוא שם חיינו איתם, וגורלנו עם כל העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn now to all of those who have departed, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, and the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives are a blessing to humanity. We think of these from our congregational families. We remember Tom Gosnell, the cousin of Eric and Roberta Neymark, and Robert Bernstein, the father of Daphne Cohn, father-in-law of Peretz Cohn, and grandfather to Emma and Asher, who died in recent days and weeks. And we acknowledge the yahrzeits of Hannah Meyerson Barwald, Norman Blumberg, Nathan Brenner, Theodore Carr, Ted Cohen, Jean Dworkin, Barbara Friedman, Isaac Gradman, Albert Kaufman, Hattie Reddig, Francis Beller-Roman, Jack Rosenstein, Dora Birkenpass White, and those listed in memory in the chat. Are there additional names to add in memory here in the congregation? If you are here in mourning, I invite you to rise so that we might acknowledge your grief. And I invite the rest of the congregation to stand beside you as we all turn together to page 294 and join in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chaye chon v'yomei chon, u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam alamei maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shmei dekudushat b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Deka, you turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you. So that my soul sings to you, and it not be stilled. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Deka.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Paul Glazer, president of the Brotherhood here at CBHT. It's my high honor to be presenting tonight's announcements on behalf of the Temple Board of Trustees. First, welcome to all of you who are here tonight for the first time, and for those who are here for the first time in a year and a half. It's good to see all of you, and hey to all of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. We miss you. Thank you to Rabbi and Seth for our lovely service, and thanks to Marty Gillen for producing the video about Tikkun. And not the least, thank you to Tikkun for your service as our president, especially over this most unique year and a half. Now Maya. Hi Maya, come on up a second. Tikkun is okay, but you're the reason why I'm so happy to be here tonight. You know that your father and I go back a ways. Some of you might be surprised to learn we actually attended high school together, and even more surprised to learn, go Wild Kids. But you might even be more surprised to learn that back then, of the two of us, both of us had hair. I had lunch with your father last week in the hopes of getting some dirt about you to be able to make some jokes, but he didn't have any dirt. He did, however, go on and on and on about your accomplishments, speaking proudly of the young woman you've become, and then he followed up with pages of texts with more details. I'm still waiting for the APGAR scores. Come on, let's have a complete picture. To accept the postponement of one's bat mitzvah and then have to learn a new haftarah, a new Torah portion, is a true accomplishment and really shows a lot of maturity. And all of us couldn't be happier for you and your family. But if there's one lesson I'd like to impart to you, it's the idea that to keep your bat mitzvah in perspective. Your bat mitzvah is truly a wonderful milestone in your life, but I don't know whether that's the best day. I think the day your own child or grandchild is bar bat mitzvah maybe is the best day. Or maybe the day you get your driver's license, one of those two. But this weekend is still something, it's a big deal, and we're very happy and proud about it. And now some small tokens of appreciation. Would you like a Yeti cup? Would you like? I can't reach. I don't want to knock this over. Okay. A bat mitzvah certificate suitable for framing. Isn't this beautiful? This is really wonderful. Signed by Rabbi and Seth. There you go. And a certificate worth $250 on a trip to Israel. Don't use this tonight. We need you here tomorrow. Okay, don't. And here are home versions of what you've been learning here for the last few years. A Kiddush cup from Sisterhood to celebrate Shabbat, and a Tanakh from Brotherhood. So take this all to your dorm room in college, and I'm sure you'll be a hit. So, again, Mazel Tov to you and your family, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. You can sit down because this is like going to go on for another 5 minutes. This is like a really busy time here. You wouldn't know this, but as you know, we're reopening in a limited capacity for services during June for vaccinated temple members. Please see your emails on how to register to join us in person for a service in the sanctuary or, weather permitting, next Friday in the amphitheater. Yes, we're taking it on the road. If you've been able to attend a service in person, we ask that you please be mindful of others registering so everyone has a chance to come in here this month and celebrate the Shabbat. This Sunday, June 13, is also a very busy day. For those of you who have pre-ordered one, Brotherhood will be delivering lox boxes at our front door from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Please try to be here early. Don't be late, because at 11 o'clock, from 11 to noon, Brotherhood is pleased to present a Zoom webinar featuring State Senator Julie Mayfield, assuming I get the Zoom stuff done right. You do not need to be eating lax or out of a box to watch this webinar. Zoom log information has been in the emails, but I know it's a little bit hard to read. If you'd like the Zoom links, just please email me before Sunday morning, and I'll ship you the link, and it'll be real easy. Okay. Also this Sunday from 11 to 2, the Sisterhood Social Action Committee, or as we like to call it, SAC, is doing a clothing collection of gently used women's and children's spring and summer clothing. The clothing is gently used, not the women and children, for ABCCM Transformation Village. This Tuesday, the 15th, Brotherhood is hosting its monthly lunchtime schmooze at noon at Moe's Original Barbecue in Woodfin. There's still a few seats available, but you must RSVP to Bob Stein. Cultivating Kavanahs this Thursday the 17th at 7 p.m. Join Rabbi on Zoom for meditation and mindfulness. Religious school may be over, but summer midweek Hebrew registration is live for those students who would like to stay sharp, like this one, and maybe work towards a, work towards a golden kippah or rainbow yad. Our annual temple membership meeting is coming up on June 22nd. This year our meeting is in person, no Zoom, yay. But you must register through the Shul Cloud. Check your emails for the link to register or contact Buffy in the office. And if you can't come, please send in your proxy. Please join the Resnick family in celebrating Maya's Simcha tomorrow morning on the live stream access link starting at 10 o'clock. And for those of you present in the sanctuary, please grab a to-go-neg bag on your way out, courtesy of the Resnick family, in honor of Maya's bat mitzvah tomorrow. Thanks for the goodies, Resnicks. Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Shabbat shalom.
I just want to give a shout out to the people who are on our live stream and just say thank you for joining us. It does feel like your presence matters, and we are continuing to offer this service because we want as many people to enjoy the spiritual life of this temple, even if you're not ready to come and be here in person. So please, please avail yourself and continue to come. And I also want to say to the people who have come that Buffy and I know of other congregations where the seats are still empty, even though they're opening. And we have waiting lists. So thank you for being you. You just keep showing up. I've said for 13 years of serving this congregation, they keep showing up. They show up to everything. I'm never disappointed in the crowd. And this is a big deal, and thank you for being brave and for shedding the shells that we've all had to sort of put on and just take a risk and remember how to be together. So thank you. And we'll end on that note of how good it feels to be together. Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim, gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is that we can be together.
Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad. shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'mana'im, shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.